Now on Denver 7 News at 7 on Local 3, new revelations coming today after a police shooting in Denver that injured innocent people. What we expect to learn from the body camera video.
Former President Trump's hold on the Republican Party faces its biggest test yet.
We are standing up against evil. Liz Cheney is standing up against evil.
Liz, you're fired. Get out of here.
Yes, the primary election that the entire country will be watching today.
And it's a move to save energy, but this would leave you sweating through the summer heat. The ban one country is placing on how low you can set the air conditioner.
Why even have AC at some point? Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. You're not going to need the AC today. As Lisa's been pointing out, it's a little bit cooler. You might even notice some still wet roads on your way to work, but it is a lot calmer start to the day than what we saw yesterday, cloudy. We saw a wild afternoon, though. Flooding hit south of Denver. This was the scene right outside my kids' school. Standing water and a long line of parents waiting in the car to pick up.
Yeah, you were the smart one in the car.
I
was
stayed
the one out running in it. Take a look as people in southeast Denver couldn't get through parts of Rosamond Park because of flooding on the walking paths. And it wasn't just the pedestrians stuck. Cars were stuck as well. Quincy Avenue at Parker Road in Aurora was closed for more than an hour after flooding, and multiple accidents made the road undrivable.
Yeah, so let's get over to meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo because we could see a few more showers out there today.
We're seeing it as we speak right now across the northwestern edge of the metro area. In fact, parts of Jefferson County as those kids head back to school today. You're going to find some wet conditions there. This cell here just to the south and west of 36, but it's making 36 pretty wet here closer to Broomfield and then stretching east toward Westminster. So you've got some areas of some pretty moderate rain falling right now. Wet conditions. So expect to see some scattered storms and showers in some areas. We're going to see some low to mid 70s by the time your kids get home today. Definitely one of the coolest days that we have seen in, well, just about 2 months. So cool. Wet today. We may even get again more flooding rain in areas, especially here south along the Palmer Divide. I'll show you that coming up on Futurecast in just a few minutes. Cool in the mountains too. More 60s than 70s out west. It is going to heat back up this week. I'll show you when we're back to near 90 coming up.
Crash out to the west side of town at 52nd and Ward Road north of I-70, and as Lisa was talking about, some of the wet weather we're dealing with right here, Highway 36 at Church Ranch, and you can see how wet it is right now. A lot of splashback coming up, and some of the folks that are going a little bit faster than the others are going to see maybe some hydroplaning, especially in a lighter truck, something like that. So just be careful with some of those rain showers that we're seeing, especially in the northwest side of town. Take a look at the overall map. We do have still quite a bit of traffic jamming on 270. Earlier crash there that we had before Vasquez is gone. From the camera up that way, you still see some westbound traffic, eastbound traffic still a bit slow for us, but at least lanes are open right now. The drive time on I-70 still busy. That was carrying a lot of extra traffic, and southbound 25 into the city also still pretty busy. Here's your drive time going through Westminster, and so it is a couple extra minutes, especially on that westbound side, heading on up to Broomfield.
Well, for the first time today, we're expecting to see body camera video from last month's controversial police shooting in Lodo. That police shooting injured 6 innocent bystanders after firing into a crowd as the bars were closing. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live from where this happened. And this video could help fill in some of the gaps of what police have shared so far.
And since that shooting a month ago here at 20th and Larimer, the community has really been pressing police for answers as to why they shot into that crowd of people when they were going after the suspect, Jordan Waddy. 6 innocent bystanders suffered various injuries, including a man who had a bullet lodged in his arm. Up until now, we've only seen a still frame photo from a body camera that shows what police say is Waddy flashing a gun at them, though there is no evidence he ever fired that gun. We've also seen a photo of a 10mm handgun police say they found at the scene here. Under state law, audio and footage of an incident has to be released within 21 days of a request when there's a misconduct complaint, and today is that deadline. The case is now also in the hands of the Citizen Oversight Board. They'll review whether Denver officers responded appropriately. They'll look at failures in training, protocol, and cultural issues. Last week, board members told us that they're closely tracking this incident, but the speed of these investigations is slow, and that can be very frustrating.
I think that's the most unfortunate condition of police accountabilities that can often be very slow, in particular because now there's a criminal investigation because people were shot. that makes it even slower, right? We've got outside parties in the DA's office and the Colorado State Patrol conducting an external investigation. And while I'm sure they are eager to get to the outcomes as quickly as possible.
The board is closely reviewing the case, but they told us in a way their hands are tied until the investigation into whether police acted lawfully is complete. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. There will also be increased security at Greeley High School today after a student stabbed another student. This happened at Jefferson High School in Greeley as kids were headed to lunch in the hallway with a crowd of students watching. Police say a student attacker now faces charges including first-degree assault.
I'm not really shocked because of all the violence we've had and because of what I've been hearing in schools and because of what we've been seeing there. But I am saddened that that our schools are not protected. Our students, the ones that really want to study, are not protected.
Now, a lot of people hurt by the violence at school. Denver 7 contacted Greeley police late Monday for details on where the school resource officer was at the time of the incident, but we have not heard back yet. New this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin is calling out the United States for destabilizing countries across the world and extending the Ukraine war. During a video message that aired at the Moscow Conference on International Security earlier today, Putin also accused the White House of igniting tensions between China and Taiwan. On Sunday, a U.S. congressional delegation landed in Taiwan for a two-day visit. It came on the heels of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip to the self-governing island. Pelosi's visit drew the ire of China, who launched military exercises near Taiwan.
Well, a big political story we're following today. It's primary day in Wyoming, and unless every poll is wrong, Congresswoman Liz Cheney will be ousted in that state's Republican primary. She was one of a handful of Republicans who voted to impeach former President Trump, and today is expected to be a big victory for him. Here's ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi.
Today, former President Trump is expected to achieve his biggest political victory since losing the White House.
Liz, you're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who voted in line with Trump roughly 93% of the time, now faces a likely defeat in the state's Republican primary. Cheney was just one of 10 Republicans in the House to vote for the former president's impeachment, and she's now a vice chair of the January 6th committee.
Donald Trump's plan to falsely claim victory in 2020, no matter what the facts actually were, was premeditated.
On the eve of the election, many Republicans in Wyoming branded her a traitor.
There was a time that I told her that I would vote for her for president. I rescind that with a vengeance.
Some Democrats in Wyoming have switched their party registration to vote for Cheney, a last-ditch effort to keep her in office. But it's unlikely to be enough to overcome her opponent, Harriet Hageman, who most polls have winning by more than a 20-point margin.
This isn't just about voting against Liz Cheney. Wyoming will finally have a representative that is from Wyoming, understands Wyoming, has been fighting for Wyoming.
In June, Cheney telling ABC's Jonathan Karl this about the prospect of losing her primary.
I think that the single most important thing is protecting the nation from Donald Trump. And I think that matters to us as Americans more than anything else.
Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Coloradans are watching this race closely. Many have contributed a lot of money to Liz Cheney's campaign. The Colorado Sun reports about 400 Coloradans donated more than $360,000 to her through the end of last month. About 140 Coloradans donated to her opponent.
25 minutes or so before the opening bell on Wall Street as investors hope to make a run here. All three major indexes closed about a half point higher yesterday, and stock markets overseas were up overnight, fueled by dropping oil prices. Eating at restaurants still costs more than cooking at home, but not by as much. The Labor Department says while consumer prices at grocery stores jumped more than 13% in July, restaurant prices were only up about 7.5%. Some restaurant chains are now touting their prices as a better value. Starbucks is asking the National Labor Relations Board to temporarily suspend mail-in union votes at its U.S. stores. The coffee giant is requesting that all future elections be held in person. More than 220 U.S. Starbucks have voted to unionize since last year, including in Denver and Superior. The company, though, has opposed the effort. Well, it's back to work for the Denver Broncos. They're getting ready to take on the Bills in Buffalo Saturday. It will be their second preseason game.
Yeah, a lot of people still celebrating the win on Saturday against the Cowboys, maybe getting even a little emotional about it. Well, Russell Wilson might have been. Take a look at this. So Russell Wilson did not even play Saturday, but he suited up, and during the national anthem, if you look at his face, it looks like he's crying or sweating. Depends on who you ask. Our Lionel Bienvenu, our sports anchor, posted this on Twitter with that question, you know, which was it? And most people think he's shedding a tear.
But he has sweat on his forehead.
And we know it was hot that day.
It was hot. But the look on his face is kind of looks emotional.
We asked Russell for a response. We have not gotten it back yet, though, so. Well, there are millions of Americans who have yet to catch COVID. Brian might be one of them. Why doctors now say these people may have gotten so lucky.
Knock on wood this morning. Plus, if you're a Wordle fanatic like Nicole, we'll show you the new game testing your vocab skills around Colorado.